Welcome to this webinar on remanufacturing. My name is Nina Boersma and I'm interviewing David Peck, remanufacturing expert from TU Delft. Hey David.
Hey Nina.
Hi, I have a couple of questions for you.
I know.
First one is, what is remanufacturing in a nutshell?
Great question. Remanufacturing in a nutshell. Let's just go through the process of what we're talking about here, and it helps differentiate it from other things. We take a product. It gets made new. It's sold. Customer uses it either in business or at home or wherever. When that use is finished, for whatever reason it's finished, it may be because the product's failed, or maybe not because it's failed, it's just replaced for some reason or another. What has then happened is that product is transported into a factory. Here's where the reman magic starts, okay? Remanufacturing magic. It goes through that process. It comes in, it's first of all initially cleaned, then it's assessed, then it's stripped down, fully apart, all the different parts. They are assessed as well as we go through the process. It's then put all back together again, maybe with some new parts in it if it needs it. Where it needs it, it'll have new parts put in. It's then fully tested. It looks like new. It feels like new. It operates as new. It's in a box. It's with a warranty, and the customer shouldn't be able to tell the difference. And that is, in a nutshell, what remanufacturing is.
Great. And I have heard about other terms like reuse, repair, refurbishment. Can you tell me what is exactly the difference between these and remanufacturing?
They go on a scale, and you put them in the right order, by the way, the sort of scale. So reuse, for instance, is just taking a product that has been in with one owner or used one time, and then someone else just uses it. Nothing particularly happens to it. So, you know, you could lend me your pen, and I take your pen, and then I'm reusing it. That's at a very, very, very basic level. Repair may have some interventions on it. Some things are repaired in order to get it back to its operating condition that it was before. But you notice I said with remanufacturing, as new in box with warranty. So those other processes can't do that. And that's one big difference with reman. It brings stuff back to the condition that it was when it left the factory gate when it was first made. And that is the big difference. And that's really important to understand, that other re's, whatever they are, repair, reuse, whatever, doesn't do that.
Is there then also a difference in who performs remanufacturing or reuse or refurbishment? Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, for instance, I've said already, it's in a factory. It's in a manufacturing style environment, because even though the thing is coming apart and put together again, it's of that standard. And obviously you can't do that at home, nor can commercial users do that, because that's not what they do. Repair could be done like that. Reuse can be done like that. I could put something up on some kind of website and sell something, and then somebody else buys it, and that's reuse. Remanufacturing, you can't do that like that. So you do need this factory environment with skilled people, with knowledge, with a lot of data and information from the original production, with a lot of specialized test equipment and so on and so forth. So it's pretty high tech a lot of the time.
Now, Dave, tell me, why do you think remanufacturing is so important?
Yeah, I can sort of split this into two big areas really. There's a business opportunity, which I'll deal with second, and there's something to do with the planet and what we're doing here. So if we think about climate, for instance, climate change, when we do new product, when we manufacture new product, we take resources, we put a lot of energy into that. Unfortunately, in the world, normally fossil fuels at the moment. We burn those fossil fuels to do these processes. That produces emissions. That is the big contribution towards climate change. And we've agreed globally we're going to address this, and we must, for the survival of all life on the planet. So, I mean, that's a big driver to do something, and remanufacturing helps that. How does it help it? Well, when you take the materials first time round, you use a lot of energy to get those materials out and get them into the product. When you remanufacture, the materials, for the most part, are already there. So you're not using a lot of energy in new materials. Now that leads me on to the second thing, is we have constraints on how much material we can keep taking out of this dear planet of ours and turning into things. This is not a running out story, but we do talk about materials becoming critical. And this is where they run into supply risk, and they're economically very important. And we call those critical materials, and that list has got longer. We need to think about how we're going to manage in the future with the materials we've got around us. Now, Reman's beautiful for this because it uses the same materials coming through. And that can be on multiple times. By the way, remanufacturing is not just once. It can be over and over and over again, depends on the product. So, I mean, there's two big issues: material constraint on the planet and energy and pollution from burning fossil fuels, which is leading to climate change. Then there's a whole bunch of other things. For instance, in terms of the business, why might it be? Well, you've got a lot lower costs. How do you get lower costs? Well, you're not using primary stocks and materials so much, and you're certainly not using so much energy. Well, those two things cost the business a lot of money. So you've already taken that out of the equation. What you might need is a lot of skilled people. Well, that's okay, because you saved a lot of money anyway. And by the way, hey, isn't that good for society? So these things on the business and social side begin to add up as well. And by the way, of course, in terms of society, having a cleaner, healthier planet has got to be good for everyone. So I think the whole rationale around remanufacturing is strong, and governments and many companies agree with this.
Thank you for these insights on what is remanufacturing in a nutshell.